Good afternoon, guys. I'm online. I hope you're online as well. My name is Milena, and I invite you to a series of our English webinars dedicated to grammar. And today we're going to talk about present continuous. It's not a difficult tense, but quite interesting. Recently, you have discussed this tense with your teachers. And it's a very nice opportunity for us to practice and refresh a little bit of rules and remember some interesting details about the present continuous tense. I wanted to tell you that our webinar is not a simple video, it's an activity, interactive. So you will need some writing materials, a piece of paper, some notebook probably, and a pen or a pencil. I will share my screen with you, and my beautiful colleague Oля will help me today. We will share a presentation with you, refresh some rules, and give you some exercises to practice. So let's get started. Okay. So, the present continuous. How and most importantly, why make it? Well, first of all, let's answer the question how to make it. You all remember that the present continuous is the verb to be plus a verb with ing ending. Ing ending is a present participle form of the verb. But you will discover and discuss this form a little bit later. You will meet this form in more, it has more uses in English language, but it can also participate in forming the present continuous tense. So let's have a look at a positive sentence. It is raining today, or I am teaching grammar now. Sorry. Question form. Is it raining outside or are you listening to me? As you can see, the verb to be goes in front of the sentence. Well, WH questions follow this same structure, this same logics. WH questions are the questions beginning with when, where, what, why, and how. And you put this word in front of this sentence, in front of the verb to be, and the verb to be follows. For example, why are you listening to me? That is the question. And negative form. It is not raining, or it isn't raining, contraction with apostrophe. You are not listening to me, or you aren't listening. This is clear. I hope you remember those rules of forming the tense. And more importantly, we need to remember that when adding ing, there are some spelling issues. Well, first of all, silent E is dropped, but it doesn't apply for a combination of double E. Let's have a look at the example. What does it mean, silent E? Come. In spelling, you have E at the end, but you don't pronounce it, so it's silent. Well, the ing form becomes coming, but agree, the double E is used at the end, and you write agreeing. You just attach ing to it. After a short, stressed vowel, the final consonant is doubled. Well, it's a little bit difficult formulation. Let's have a look at the example. You will see that those are short words like sit, for example, or hit. You need to double the last consonant. Consonant is S, is S, T, B, P, and so on. So sitting or hit, hitting, and so on. After a vowel, the final consonant L can be doubled in British language, in British English, yes, in British variant of English language, but not in American English. Let's have a look. For example, travel, yes, that is a final consonant L. It can become traveling in British variant or just traveling an American variant. Mostly people nowadays don't care about those spelling rules, and usually it's the spell checker of your computer that will help you with that, depending on which variant is installed on your laptop or computer. But because we are literate people, we need to remember that you can meet both spelling variants. And final combination IE becomes Y. For example, lie becomes lying. Okay, let's move on. Let's have a closer look at positive sentences. We need to remember that here we use the verb to be for present continuous. So that is always important to remember the changes of the verb to be. So I am sleeping, you're sleeping, he is sleeping, she is sleeping, it is sleeping. When you talk about cats, dogs, and so on, please remember that they don't have gender in English language. We are sleeping and they are sleeping. Please remember that these forms can also be contracted. I will show you the spelling variants for contractions, variants with apostrophe. Study them. And of course, in pronunciation, they are contracted as well. If you say I am sleeping, in contracted form, you say I'm sleeping, you're sleeping, he's sleeping, or she's sleeping, we're sleeping, they're sleeping. And let's have a closer look at the negative form as well. The same for different full negative forms. You use the particle not after the verb to be. Here we have the full forms. And contracted forms, please pay attention to spelling. I'm not, you aren't, isn't, 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 we aren't, and they aren't. I hope this is clear as well. And now it's your turn to practice and make the sentences create the present continuous using the combinations given. For example, they not visit their parents, and so on. I will project you a bit of combinations here for you to make sentences, and in a couple of minutes I will give you the answers for us to check whether we composed our sentences correctly. Begin your work. А там, ну, завтра. То есть хорошо, что у меня есть вот, ну, где... они даже сразу не признались. Они говорят, ой, ну, если в аэропорту там сядете на этот поезд, он просто не проходит через центральную станцию. Приезжаешь в аэропорт, они, ой, а вже не нету сегодня поезда. А когда? Ну, завтра. Я говорю, а кто виноват и что делать? Никто не виноват, ничего не делать. За час. Ага. А, ви ж на візирі? Мгм. Ну да. Мгм. Хотя у тебя и онлайн. Наверное, слава богу, что блин, это кошмар такой. Что-то у них там вообще в Европе с железными дорогами вот это. У них в последнее время вот так. Причем они, папа, ну, вы же знаете об этом заранее. Но они не признаются, они до последнего людям парят мозг. Мгм. Ой, ой, не будет. Я не знаю. Мгм. Ну, все они знали, у них там просто они что-то экономят. Okay, guys, finish up. I hope you've had enough time to write sentences, and let's look at the answers. They're not visiting their parents. If you have written a full form, of course, it's not a mistake as well. It's just in my answers, you will find the contracted forms. But if you have used the full form, it's also very nice. Like they are not visiting and so on. Let's move on. He's meeting his friends tonight. Number 3, he isn't walking to school now. 4, we aren't watching TV at the moment. 5, you aren't reading a book. 6, I'm visiting Linda tonight. 7, she isn't eating dinner now. 8, Lucy isn't working in a bookshop this summer. 9, they are watching a film. And 10, we are buying a new car. Very nice. Well, let's have a closer look at questions and refresh. How do questions look for yes and no questions and WH questions? And there is nothing difficult. The algorithm is always the same. Am I eating chocolate? Are you studying now? Is he working? Is she doing her homework? Is it raining? Are we meeting at 6? Are they traveling? WH questions. Just an example for you. Why am I eating chocolate? What are you studying now? Where is he working? What is she doing? Why is it raining? Who are we meeting? How are they traveling? Well, you have refreshed those examples. Now the same task for you. Following the models from the previous slide, you will need to make questions using the present continuous. Again, I will give you a selection of words and a couple of minutes to write down your variants, and after that, I will share the answers with you. Let's begin. Там должно быть там должно быть что-то пустое. Ты думаешь, потому что это можно не давать. То есть нельзя засыпать что-то, чего нельзя засыпать. Если оно показало тебе сигнальчик, то значит ты можешь самостоятельно сделать проблему. Если оно в приемник, ага. Они вывалили. Может, надо просто включить ее и, ну, как вот этот начальник, там какой-то, нажать кнопку. Типа, знаешь, цикл пропустить воду. Ага. Ну, ее нужно достать и помыть. А как ее мыть, значит, надо просто прогнать, да? А почему она не достается? По инструкциям там нету никаких. Ага. А на ней не нарисованы на каких там типа стрелочках, где там пуш, там чего-то, может, замочек. Ну да, да. Нет, ты не переживай, она явно там не сломалась, просто еще как бы не прыгай, потому что, ну, обычно в таких кофеварках нельзя засыпать чего-то такими последствиями, чтобы все доклеило. То есть оно просто, ну да, что, ну, все просто. Можно такого типа проблемы устранить самостоятельно. Не то, что там отделение для кофе, знаешь, как вместо бензина залила воды, знаешь, и машина поломалась. Там явно что-то. Или может просто ее выключить или поставить на начальника. Ну, когда там при включении кофеварки, чтобы вода прогналась по системе. Обычно. Угу. Хорошо, Надька придет ко мне, да? Да, да. Ну, давай. Ага, вот. Ну, давай, возвращаемся. Okay, guys, finish up. I'm back and we are going to check our sentences. So, is he taking dance classes? Is she staying in a hotel? 13. How much is he eating? 14. How long are you staying in China? 15. Is she studying in the library now? 16. Are you coming? 17. Are they renting a car? 18. When are they having a barbecue? 19. What is Julie doing tonight? 20. Are you feeling sleepy? Well, I must say I'm not feeling sleepy because I have had like 3 cups of coffee. I hope you as well. Let's move on, guys. And the main question again is when to use the present continuous, yes? Because we have discussed in details how to make it, we refreshed all the forms, but when to use it? Because we already know the present simple. So why do we need anything else if we have it? Why do we need this continuous? Well, we need it very much. Because for things that are happening at the moment of speaking, progressing things, we need present continuous. We also need present continuous for temporary situations, something which is going on in this period of your life. Maybe not exactly right now, but somewhere around now, in the course of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, or something like that. Something which is not always like that, which is unusual in your life. And situation which is slowly changing. It's a longer situation, but you can see steady changes, steady progress of that situation. We also need to remember that present continuous has some special usages. We will discuss it in the next series of webinar, but just for your information, that for annoying habits, when you want to show that something happens and you don't like it, it's too often, you can use present continuous. For example, you're always losing your keys, or you're always putting your socks everywhere. It shows that you are angry. So let's move on. Let's have a closer look at some usages. The first usage, we use present continuous for things that are happening at the moment of speaking. Like I'm working at the moment, you're studying, my friend is eating salad. And of course, present continuous has different signal words, something that indicates that it's happening now, at the moment, and this moment, now, or when you say look, turning attention of your friends to the situation that is happening. Like, look, this shark is eating salad. It's a vegetarian shark. That is incredible. Well, we can also use this tense for temporary situations, and as I said, temporary situations when we feel that something will not continue for a long time. Like she's staying with her friend for a week. It's not normal situation. Usually she stays at home. I'm living in London for a few months, but normally I live in Kiev. John is working in a bar until he finds a job in his field. I'm reading a really great book. It's not that I read every day, but at this period of my life, I have found a very nice book to read. And a closer look at the situation which is slowly changing. Like the weather is improving step by step, and we can see it today. My English is getting better. I hope your English is getting better as well, step by step. And we can observe that more and more people are wearing strange clothes or strange outfits at work. It's becoming less and less formal. Like this lady, she's wearing bathrobe all day. Well, we're changing to the next slide, and we need to remember about certain verbs which do not describe processes, even if the situation is sort of happening right now. Stative verbs are the verbs which cannot be used with present continuous. They don't describe a process. For example, I know him, I understand English, or you can say, I understand what you are saying now. I dislike fish. I don't believe in ghosts. I love ice cream, and so on. Well, some examples of stative verbs you can see below at the bottom of my slide. Something like and dislike, agree or disagree, there is no process of agreeing. Love or hate, there is no process of loving or hating. When you need something, when you own, possess, like I own this mobile phone, it just is in my hand. To promise is another stative verb. To prefer, to belong, to depend, and so on. For my senior level listeners, I have the next slide where different state verbs can be grouped in certain categories. Like normally, which verbs are not used with continuous verbs, which express likes and dislikes. Here are some examples of them, like, love, hate, enjoy, prefer, adore, and so on. Verbs of sense, like see, hear, smell, taste, feel, look, sound, and so on. Again, you need to be very attentive here because, of course, there are some exceptions. Sometimes those verbs can have a continuous form, but it means they have a different meaning. And being senior level students, you will discuss that with your teachers. Then verbs of perception, like know, believe, understand, remember, and so on. And some other verbs, like the verb to be, it's normally just as it is. Like I am a teacher. Contain, include, belong, need, cost, and so on. different verbs describing certain properties. Okay. So what we are going to do now is to choose between the present simple or the present continuous. I will demonstrate you some sentences. You will need to use the correct form of the verb, and after that we will check. Let's have a look at the sentences. I give you a couple of minutes to write down the forms, and after that we will check. Что это вот эти такие коряки-варяки? Это вот такое можно, да? Телефоне можно писать и пишет. Okay, my dear experts. So I'm pretty sure that you remember the rules of the present simple and present continuous very well, and you have used the forms correctly. Of course, the first one is go. They go every Saturday. Number 2, is she working? Number 3, she doesn't go. Number 4, you usually arrive late. 5, he normally eats dinner at home. Number 6, do you study every night? 7, do you agree with me now? Even if there is now, the verb to agree is a state verb. Number 8, do they work? Usually. Number 9, I don't understand what you're saying now. Again, understand is a state verb. Number 10, what are you doing now? And number 11, I am cleaning my kitchen. That is the answer to what are you doing right now. Okay, perfect, guys. To summarize our presentation and to really check that we remember all the rules, now you will need to find 5 mistakes in my 4 sentences. Look at this one. And I'm sure you are able to spot immediately the 2 terrible mistakes in this sentence. And you will need to say, I am an expert and I know all the rules. The next one. And again, bingo, I'm sure you have found this mistake. You need to say, I am reading a book at the moment. Number 10, the next one, excuse me. And yes, you're absolutely right. Usually, I do not work at the weekends. And the final sentence? Yes, I hate Mondays. I am so proud of you guys, and I hope you are proud of yourselves. Congratulations on successfully passing this little test, and I hope it was useful. Thank you so much for your attention, and see you sometime in our webinars.